Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M, and I'm back with yet another video. Today, what are we gonna do today? Today, what we're gonna talk about today, I don't know, maybe some of you are anticipating this because I did say I would do it, and I meant it, so today I'm doing it. I'm gonna do a video about this band and that song that I posted in the community post section. I'm going over there right now just to show you once again the Thieves song by Ministry from the Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste album from, looks like here, 1989. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, I'm talking about it because I am Stanley Kubrick crazy. I'm a Kubrickologist, and that's all there is to it. And I believe that there are connections between that song and whatever it is that Stanley Kubrick was trying to do. I think that Al Jourgensen is doing, in his career, something similar to what Stanley Kubrick was doing in his career. They're just doing it in different ways. Al Jourgensen is doing it with music, and Stanley Kubrick was doing it with movies, film, cinema, pictures in general. And both artists, both guys, both men, were trying to teach us something. And maybe not so much trying to teach us anything specific, but, that too. But they were also maybe, or in Jourgensen's case, he's still around. He's trying to teach us to just use our brains. And that's that. Okay. So this might be like a long and winding video. Maybe that's, if you're one of my viewers, that's maybe precisely why you're here. I know I've had several kind of nasty commenters in the past who are like, oh, you get to the point, sir and or madam. That ain't the point. Getting to the point ain't the point. Not with my videos and the way I do things. So if you're looking for a nice short video that wraps up real quick and easy, you are in the wrong place. I don't do things that way. All right? That's not how learning happens. You're actually gonna, when you click onto my channel and you click onto one of my videos, it might be boring if you have if you have like a really severely diminished attention span. And you're just looking for, just like one of Ministry's songs, you're just one fix. You're looking for a real quick fix as far as knowledge and learning it. No, that's not how I do it. That's not how I do it. You're in the wrong place. But if you enjoy, kind of the process of learning and seeing, I guess, how to learn, at least the way I do it. If you're interested in my way of doing it, stick around, okay? So you guys, people, wonderful people, who are my subscribers and who are my regulars, as I like to call you, if this was a coffee bar, you'd be my regulars. It is time! It is time to fire up the percolator and get your coffee and coffee paraphernalia together, right? And your buns and your cinnamon rolls and your cookies, whatever you like to have with your coffee. Shoo, if you like to have a nice big ass breakfast burrito with your coffee, have that. I'm from Southern California. That's what we do, breakfast burritos. Get your coffee together, or your tea, if you happen to be from a tea drinking kind of people. Get your whatever beverage. You could have the Coca-Cola Corporation. Have a Coke. Why don't you? Get your stuff together, find a nice comfortable place to sit and relax, and have your beverage and your snack. Or if you're doing chores and you need something to get you through that, it's me. I'm your chicken. I'll get you through changing your brake pads, mowing the lawn, washing the dishes, scrubbing the floor, whatever it is that you're doing. That's absolutely a horrible thing, but it needs to be done. I can get you through. So get your stuff together, and I'm going to you might not you're not ready for this, but that's okay. You don't have to be ready for everything. You don't know where I'm going with this. You don't know. You might think, oh, it's just some, crazy lady who likes ministry and who sees connections where there's no connection. There might not be. I might be 100% totally wrong about this. So if you're a ministry fan and you're here and you're maybe, because the algorithm like got you here because maybe the word or the name of the band is in the title or whatever, and you're expecting to hear some like hot, juicy tea about Al Jourgensen. No, that's not what I'm doing here. No. I don't do, well, yeah, no. I'm not doing gossip. I'm not doing gossip about Al Jourgensen. No, none of that. I respect him. So, this is not a salacious video. This is not gossipy. This is me like doing my thing. And I could be 100% wrong about every single thing I'm saying. I'm not making any conclusions. No, I am speculating. I'm speculating out loud. Hope I don't offend anybody. Okay, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to paint anybody or anything like like the band, any of the band members, especially Al Jourgensen or anybody like that. I'm not trying to paint them in a bad light. No, I think they're great, and I think there's more going on. Okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I apologize for being wrong, but that's not going to stop me from being wrong. Okay. I'm going to be as wrong as I want to be. All right. So that's what we do here. If you're interested, check out my other videos. There's plenty of them. How many? 230? Okay. Ooh, pretty soon there's going to be 237. Son of a bitch. When I get to 237 videos, we might have a little, like, maybe 237 is going to be special. We shall see. I don't know. But there are some twists and turns waiting for you today. Okay. All kinds of surprises that you might not expect. All right. So let's get into it, people. I'm not going to tell you to like, comment, subscribe. No, you know that already. You know that already. So let's get into it. I got all my tabs lined up. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 tabs. Oh, there might be some more. Who knows? One tab might lead to another. So what am I discussing today and why? Again, like Richard, Tankard of Tales Stashy, he's got a new video up. I might even put it in my description so you could go watch the damn thing, because this man makes good videos. All right, him, and I assume that's your wife with you in the videos. She's perfectly lovely, Richard, Mrs. Stashy. Hey, if you're listening, they get together and they make some really cute videos, and they explore various topics within like the Kubrick universe and all this stuff connected to it. He's got a new one up. I think I just saw the notification for it. I saved it so I could watch it later. It had some stuff to do today. And then probably after I'm done making this and like uploading it and whatever, then I'm going to watch Richard Tankard of Tales Stashy's latest video. And I suggest you do the same. Go watch all of his videos. They're not like mine. Okay, he's figured out how to make things short and to the point. I have not. I need to ramble on, but go watch it. He's got great videos about the movie Lolita. I think he's exploring something Shining related in his latest video. Go watch it, and of course, go watch Delta Builder and his renders of all the various sets, the various rooms in the Overlook Hotel. And he's done, I think, one, maybe more than one. I'm not sure, of FMJ, the barracks. He's also my buddy. Go check him out. Okay, Delta Builder and Tankard of Tales, aka Richard Stashy. Go check out all their videos. They're very good. They're very, very good. Now, where are we going with this and why? Well, here we go. I'm gonna do my first tab. I don't know how to do this, so I'm just gonna do Start Anywhere. Ministry, band. Here it is. I'll read the first paragraph. I don't know if I'm going to read all these names, but Ministry is an American industrial metal band founded in Chicago, Illinois. Oh, Richard, that's your area. In 1981 by producer, singer, and instrumentalist Al Jourgensen. Originally a synth-pop outfit, Ministry evolved into one of the pioneers of industrial rock and industrial metal in the late 1980s. The band's lineup has changed frequently, leaving Jourgensen as the sole remaining original member. Musicians who have contributed to the band's studio or live activities include, I'm just going to tell you about the first one, Nivek Ogre. That's the lead singer from Skinny Puppy. I love them too. Okay, and I'm not going to read all these names. It's too much, because I want to focus, if I can, today. Ministry attained commercial success during the late 1980s and early 1990s with 3 of their studio albums: The Land of Rape and Honey, 1988, The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste, which is the album where the song that we're going to talk about today comes from, The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste, 1989, and Psalm 69, 1992. Okay. The first 2 were certified gold, while Psalm 69 was certified platinum by the RIAA, Recording Industry Association of America. Psalm 69 was followed by Filth Pig. All of these albums have really amazing songs on them, in my opinion. So I suggest you check them out. And et cetera, and so on and so forth. Okay. So, not going to bore you with this, but I will definitely put this in the description. You can go look at this Wikipedia page on your own time, and read it, analyze it, do whatever. All right. I'm gonna leap down to discography. Okay, so they've done quite a few albums, as you can see here. The first one is With Sympathy. That's the one that Al Jourgensen didn't want anybody to listen to. And of course we all listen to it because it's amazing. All right, completely different from these ones later. The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste and Filth Pig and all these other albums. With Sympathy, if you listen to the songs from With Sympathy, you would never, ever, ever, ever expect the same person who wrote the songs on With Sympathy to be the same author of the songs in all of these subsequent albums. It's kind of interesting. And I just, I think it's just a testament to Al Jourgensen's genius. He's really quite something when it comes to music and musicianship and all the other things, right? But this one is the album that we're going to concentrate on today. The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste, which is where the song Thieves is found. Now, let's go over to Mr. Jourgensen's Wikipedia article itself. Again, I'm not going to read this whole thing. Look at oh my God, there's so much of it. No. I don't got that kind of time. And I don't think I would want to read this all to you. I want you to go and look at it on your own. I'll read this first paragraph of the first section, I guess the intro section. Alain David Jourgensen, born Alejandro Ramirez Casas, October 9th, 1958. So his birthday is pretty soon. And he's a Libra, looks like it, is a Cuban-American singer, musician, and music producer, closely related with the independent record label Wax Trax! Records. His musical career spans 4 decades. He is the frontman and lyricist of the industrial metal band Ministry, which he founded in 1981, and of which he remains the only constant member. He was the primary musician of several Ministry-related projects, such as, oh dear, I don't know if I could say all of this out loud, but you can see it. Jourgensen is a prominent figure in industrial music, influencing numerous other groups and musicians, both in alternative and industrial associated acts. He's had a really interesting life. If you go ahead and you look at his bio here and keep reading the rest of this intro portion and his early life and his career, like, this guy is, he's been around and he's educated. I know he went to college, and I think he studied. I think I've even got an article for you about, like, he studied history in college. And it fits. Like, when I listen to his music and I look at the lyrics and everything, and with the knowledge in mind that that was his academic interest as a student, history. And he says he wanted to study like prehistory. You can see it. You can see it, especially in the song that we're going to go through today. And again, we're going through the song we're going through today because of its connection to Stanley Kubrick, and Stanley Kubrick movies and what Stanley Kubrick was trying to accomplish. As I said, I think both artists were trying to accomplish something similar. Anyway, you can read his bio here. Really, really interesting. Really seems to be really intelligent person. What did I want to? Oh, hold on now. Hold on. I wanted to read something to you. There we go. This is why we're here. Okay. This is in the section of his wiki page that says professional life, and then it says ministry, and then a couple paragraphs down it says, at the specific request of director Stanley Kubrick, Jourgensen appeared with ministry in the film AI, Artificial Intelligence. He related his conversation with Kubrick in an interview. I guess this paragraph here, this is Al Jourgensen, his words. This is him talking. He says, well, first of all, I hung up on him. I thought it was a crank call. His secretary was calling, and I was like, yeah, right, click. And then he called back personally and then talked to me, and I was just freaked out. I mean, who wouldn't be freaked out? Here's this eccentric American god living in the countryside of England, and he's calling me up in Austin, Texas, and saying he wants me to do the music for his film, and he wants me to be in his film, and he's famous and all that. I didn't even believe it. Okay, that's end of quote. Ministry continued its involvement with the film project after Kubrick's death, and Jourgensen revealed that after initial tension with Steven Spielberg, partly due to Jourgensen's prank when he claimed being told that AI stood for anal intruder and threatening to walk off production because it was not a porn film, he and Spielberg enjoyed a friendly relationship, with two compositions appearing on the soundtrack, What About Us and Dead Practice. Okay. Okay, so there we go. It's not just that the song that we're going to talk about today is connected to Stanley Kubrick movies. No, Al Jourgensen is connected to Stanley Kubrick movies. I just read this thing, and that was the explanation of why. This man, Al Jourgensen, was directly contacted by the one and the only Stanley Kubrick to do music for the movie AI that Steven Spielberg continued after Stanley Kubrick's unfortunate death. Okay? Like, wow. Like, oh my God. So, because I have such a high regard for Stanley Kubrick and the choices he made in his movies and everything that went into making a Stanley Kubrick film, big things, little things, and all the rest. Like the fact that he decided to call Al Jourgensen, of all people, to be a part of this movie project, because not just, Al Jourgensen's and Ministry music is amazing, but like he's kind of Jourgensen himself seems like kind of this cult figure, right? Like he's not ordinary. He's not like just a regular schmegular rock star that says dumb things in interviews, and like, no, you could tell the man has a brain, and you can tell that he uses it. That's why he's different. But at the same time, like a lot of there's a lore and a legend surrounding a figure, a character like Al Jourgensen, which I would expect maybe that would put somebody like Stanley Kubrick off, but obviously not. Obviously, because probably Stanley Kubrick saw maybe what I'm seeing right now, and looking at Jourgensen's music and the Ministry albums and all the different songs. Okay, so that's why we're here. That's one big reason why we're here. But there's more. Okay, there's more. There's always more. Moving on to my next tab. Again, this is all going to be in the description. You can read these through at your leisure. It's really up to you. Here is an interview that I found very interesting with Al Jourgensen, and it's called Ministry. The title, I guess, is Ministries Al Jourgensen. If I hadn't become a musician, I would have been a teacher. This is from 2013, approximately 10, 11 years ago. It says here, Ministry Mastermind. Al Jourgensen is a true conversationalist. We always love speaking with him, and the other day we caught up with Jourgensen on the phone for about half an hour. We spoke with the musician about Ministry's upcoming album From Beer to Eternity, his memories of late guitarist Mike oh my god, I hope I don't pronounce this wrong, Scaccia, alien encounters, and much, much more. But perhaps the most fascinating part of our conversation was when Uncle Al told us that if he wasn't a professional musician, he would like to be a teacher. Can you imagine Al Jourgensen walking into a classroom with a cup of coffee and a manila folder filled with graded tests and attendance records? Yeah, suddenly school doesn't seem so bad. Of course, Jourgensen doesn't just want to teach any subject. He wants to educate the kids on what he calls prehistory history. Okay, what in the world does he mean? Here's another quote from the man himself, according to Loudwire. It says, I was learning prehistory history before all the Graham Hancock books and all the ancient aliens things came out and all that. I was very interested in pre-Mesopotamian culture. I am too, to be honest with you. Like, I concentrate on Mesopotamia for a reason. I concentrate on mythology in general for a reason, because I think it's the thing that ties all these ancient cultures together. But never mind, let's keep going. He says, I was very interested in pre-Mesopotamian culture, which I thought 3500 to 4000 BC. That's not where we started. This goes way further, and we have no evidence of that. So I really did my research in college on prehistorical history. Today, if I could get a job with face tattoos, being a professor, I would do that. Al, if you're listening, well, small chance that you're listening, you could get a job if you wanted to at a college, being a professor, at least community college. They would take you. I'm pretty sure they would. But, you know, like you could even design, Al, if you're listening, you could design your own class. You really could. You could sit down with them and say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my curriculum for my class. This is what I want to teach them about. You know, this, unit 1, unit 2. Yes, you could do it. I totally think you could. So, you know, that is still an option for you, face tattoos or no. All right. Anyway, he goes on. I don't know what university would hire me, a bunch of them. But that's my passion. What really went the fuck on? Not what the Bible tells us, or the Quran, or the Torah, or whatever, but what really was going on. This is a question, what he just said, like, you know, what really went the fuck on. This keeps me up at night too. This is why I'm such a freak for Stanley Kubrick. Because I think Stanley Kubrick has, I don't know how or why Stanley Kubrick got this insight on what really went the fuck on, as Al Jourgensen says here, but Stanley knows something. He knows something about human nature, about the way people interact with each other, about human relationships, about history, prehistory, history. Like, I think that Stanley was onto something. And maybe, again, there's something that he's trying to articulate in his movies that cannot be communicated plainly or directly. That's why he has to be so, you know, he has to be so sneaky in his movies. Doesn't matter which one you're watching, The Shining, FMJ, the one that I watched recently, Dr. Strangelove, Lolita, Eyes Wide Shut, like, basically all of them. Okay, what was really going on? Really, that's the question. He adds, how much did they know back then? And what different types of energy sources did they have? They weren't just in the dark rubbing two sticks together like they try to make you think, like Neanderthals and, oh, we found fire and this and that. These people had like electromagnetic sources. They had solar power. They had wind. They had all renewable resources. They were an advanced civilization We are the barbarians. I don't know what to think about his statement there, but I can kind of see it personally. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know what you guys like. What do you guys think? Are they hiding something from us? Are the powers that be, or maybe we should call them the powers that shouldn't be? Is that who Stanley Kubrick has trained his sights on? Like, is that who he's trying to expose? The people who are not telling us the truth about history? And maybe they know, they just, for whatever reason, they feel it's better to keep us in, like, literally and figuratively in the dark, and not let us know that these technologies have been around since, like, before the Mesopotamians. I don't know. I used to love watching those documentaries and those videos about it, but, you know, it's wonderful to hear that Al Jourgensen also has the same kind of curiosity. Jourgensen went on to speak about these civilizations, which he says predated the ancient Babylonians and Sumerians. In a quote, he says, "I'm talking about islands sunken under the sea because of sea level changes over the years in 200 to 300 feet of water. I'm talking about this, the supposed Plato's Atlantis and all this. There were civilizations very similar to what Plato describes as Atlantis. I think we were colonized by Oh, shit. See, we're going back to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Okay, Jourgensen says, I think we were colonized by aliens 250,000 years ago, and they genetically altered our DNA to be primates into Homo erectus and humans. I'm very interested in how we evolved so suddenly, which obviously ties in with the alien thing." Again, 2001: A Space Odyssey, that goddamn monolith. All right, Stanley is saying all kinds of shit in the first part of that movie. That he can't say it directly. He can't say it plainly. He has to make it so that, like, we wonder about it. Okay. Also because, Jorgensen goes on, also because of civilizations and the technology that we had back then, somebody is holding on to it. Some say the Masons or the Rosicrucians. Somebody has that knowledge and they won't let the people know. Oh my God, he's interested in the same stuff as me. Wow. And probably a bunch of you, because here you are on my channel. That means that you're an inquiring mind and you want to know. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if it's the Masons or the Rosicrucians. I have my own little, special recipe, conspiracy theory, original to me. We can talk about that some other time. But okay, what's going on? After we mentioned various underwater rock formations such as the Yonaguni Monument, which is thought by many to be man-made, Jourgensen continued on the subject. People are so worried about the goddamn moon and Mars, they should be looking underwater. There's some anomalies that are absolutely unexplainable or have absolutely no contextual comparison to the history we're taught today. Like I was saying, they were the advanced cultures. We're the barbarians, man. Okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I just used this article to show y'all that this man was into history and that he went to school, and that if he wasn't a musician and a legend and everything, he would want to be a teacher. That's awesome. Okay, next on my thing here, we're getting closer to the point of this whole video. I know we're almost half an hour in. Here it is. The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste is the fourth studio album by American industrial metal band Ministry, released on November 14, 1989 by Sire Records. The music took a more hardcore, aggressively guitar-driven direction, with Jourgensen inspired by Stormtroopers of Death and Rigor Mortis to add thrash metal guitars to the album and subsequent Ministry releases. As with most of Ministry's work, the album's lyrics deal mainly with political corruption, cultural violence, environmental degradation, nuclear war. Well, damn. We're all here for the same reason. Nuclear war, drug addiction, and insanity. Okay, so again, I'm going to put this in the, oh dear God, I'm going to put this in the description of the video if you want to go look at it. Thieves is the song we'll be talking about today, later. I need to, what the hell is this? Oh, here we go. Samples. Cool. I'm gonna be talking about this more. I need a coffee break. I suggest if you need to, go get another cup and we'll continue on with this, and I will hopefully make sense of this, and you'll see where I'm going with this and why. Hold on a minute. Be right back. Okay, you guys, I'm back. I'm back. So again, we're talking about the album The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste. Okay. And check out, for a second, let's do that. Let's check out the cover art. Do you see this? Do you see this fucking thing? Okay. And I said, take a look at it. In the last video, I said, take a look at it. It's small here. From far away, when you're not really focusing very closely on it, this image looks like a goddamn mushroom cloud. Does it not? And then when you zoom in, you know, you realize, oh no, that's an X-ray of a human skull. All right. And is that intentional? I don't know. I don't know if that's intentional, but like the first time I saw this on one of those little thumbnails on YouTube, I said, oh my God, that's a mushroom cloud. And then I saw a closer pic, like I looked at it more closely, and it's like, oh no, it's not a mushroom cloud, but my God, it looks very similar. It's a skull. It's a human skull. What is he trying to say? The mind is a terrible thing to taste. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so the song specifically that we're going to look at today, Thieves, Get Up. These are the samples. He uses samples in a bunch of these songs. The one that we're concentrating on, Thieves, Get Up, Get on Your Feet, You Will Not Kill, I Can't Hear You, Pray, dialogue from R. Lee Ermey's drill instructor character in Full Metal Jacket. Jourgensen later attributed these samples to Kubrick's interest in having the band appear in AI, artificial intelligence. I don't know. I mean, you know, he attributed these like him using samples from the movie in a song. You know, now that I think about it, like, I don't know how this happens. I don't know how the music business works. Not even like, I have no clue. But seems to me, or just like common sense tells you, you can't just use samples from a movie without the permission of the author of the movie, in this case, Stanley Kubrick. So, like, what happened there? Like, how did he, did he use these without asking Stanley Kubrick? Or did he get permission? You guys tell me. I don't know about this. But yeah, the Full Metal Jacket thing, that got my attention. It sure did. Because again, I'm a Kubrick freak. That's why. But I think that Stanley Kubrick wanted to use Jourgensen, or, you know, his music for AI, artificial intelligence, for much more than just that reason, because he used samples from Full Metal. I mean, if that's the logic, then he could have, like, why didn't Stanley ask Two Live Crew to be, you know, because Two Live Crew samples Full Metal Jacket too, and I think we all remember that pretty clearly if we were around at the time. You know, so I don't think that's it. I think that Stanley Kubrick saw what I'm seeing too in Ministry, in Al Jourgensen's music. You all let me know in the comments. I can't wait for the comments for this video. Your comments on the last video? Oh my God. Hold on, let me show you. This one, Dr. Strangelove, Stanley Kubrick film analysis. Oh my goodness, you guys did amazing. In 4 days. So I made this thing 4 days ago. It has 375 views. Not much if you're like a mega channel, but for my channel, I'm proud of that. As opposed to this one 4 months ago, 399 views for Coffee Break 2001, A Space Odyssey Edition Stanley Kubrick. Like, okay, so like 24 more views and I will have surpassed the views for the video I did 4 months ago. Like, I don't know. What's the difference? I have no idea. But, okay, so here, but back to the samples for Thieves. Okay, so some of them come from Full Metal Jacket, And if you know the movie pretty well, you know what part of the movie each one of these quotes comes from. Get up, get off your feet. You know that, I think that's like right after, get up, get on your feet. I think that's from like right after Hartman like punches Joker in the gut and he tells him to get up, get on your feet. Yeah. And then you will not kill. That's when he's like telling them like why they're there and why, you know, they're so important to his beloved core. And then I can't hear you when, again, it's during one of his instructions. Pray, specifically, is from when they do the Rifleman's Creed at bedtime in the movie. Interesting. And then it says, the second one is I Want Peace, former U.S. President Richard Nixon. I don't know what that's in reference to. He wants peace, like where, how? Is this about Vietnam? It probably is, because Richard Nixon was the president during, at least, you know, the last part of Vietnam. Hold on, I'm going to blow my nose. I got sinus issues. Sorry about that. I just didn't want to pause the recording. I'm so sorry. You know, like, he's the one that actually got us out of Vietnam. All right? He never gets any credit for that, but he did. And this last part, look at this. We are fighting for the liberation of man, not for the rights of these pigs, the rights of society. We're going to rip this motherfucker off. We're going to tear this motherfucker down. I hope they realize this is their last goddamn chance. Power to the people. And this is from a documentary called The War at Home, which we'll look at. Okay, this is extremely important to what I'm trying to do in this video. So now you know where the samples in the song Thieves come from. All right, like I said, I think that Stanley probably saw Al Jourgensen's genius, just like I'm seeing it now. Like I said, if you know, Jourgensen later attributed these samples to Kubrick's interest in having the band appear in AI, artificial, no. I mean, where's Two Live Crew then? Come on now, Al. You know he thought he probably thought you were awesome. Anyway, here it is. Thieves. This is it, right? The song has a Wikipedia article. Thieves is a song by American industrial metal band Ministry. It was released as the opening track from the band's fourth studio album, The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste, 1989, as well as the B-side from its single Burning Inside. The song's lyrics deal mainly with political corruption. The song includes dialogue samples from R. Lee Ermey's drill instructor character in Full Metal Jacket. Ministry's version was featured in the 1992 science fiction film Free Jack, also in the 2009 video game Brutal Legend. Okay. The chorus of Thieves is influenced by Mr. Suit by the English band Wire. The song is based on a harmonic stasis. I don't know what none of this means, but I'll read it to you. It features the extensive use of E minor chord. 118 out of 138 measures of the song are based on the same E minor chord, while the rest are F minor chords. Al Jourgensen sings only the G note, while the song shifts gears rhythmically through its sections and quadruples its tempo. Tom Moon, the author of 1000 Recordings to Hear Before You Die, wrote, at the 2-minute mark of Thieves and several times later in the song, Ministry's pulse is bolstered by what sounds like a whirring mnemonic drill. It's not a gimmick. It almost functions as a solo guitar, adding punctuation. Well, damn. I didn't know. Limp Bizkit had the audacity to cover this song. Wait a minute. Oh, no, the hell they did. Wait. Oh. Limp Bizkit's version does not include the samples that are on Ministry's version. Well, that's interesting. Oh, my goodness. What the hell? Oh, and you know who else, again, it says here, who else contributed to the writing of this song? Nivek Ogre And it says here, footnotes, Nivek Over was credited by his legal name, Kevin Ogilvy, in the liner notes of The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste, in the liner notes of an audio version of the live album. In case you didn't feel like showing up, Bill Riflin was credited as co-writer instead of Ogre. Interesting. I don't know what any of this means, but I love Skinny Puppy too. And if you are interested in looking at the lyrics, here it is, the Genius lyrics here. I'm going to put that in the description. It's an amazing song. It really is. It keeps your attention quite well. And before I found this on Wikipedia where it talks about what samples are used, does it? No, it doesn't talk about on the Thieves song page. It talks about it on the Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste album page in the samples section. Okay, and before I found that, I was looking for this. I found it here. Interesting. Okay. I found it on prongs.org. I'll put it in the description again, just cuz. Now, going back to the samples page. Okay, where did it come from? The samples. Some of them came from Full Metal Jacket. One comes from Richard Nixon. And this third set comes from The War at Home. So let's... Okay, so we know all about Full Metal Jacket. You know, I've talked about it, not, you know, as extensively as I'd like to on this channel in my videos. I'm going to do more Full Metal Jacket videos in the future, hopefully. But we know about the movie. That's why you're here. You're into Stanley Kubrick. If you're into Stanley Kubrick, you've probably seen Full Metal Jacket. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the description. Again, if you want a refresher. All right. And then there's this. That third part, that third set of samples come from The War at Home, a documentary. I had never heard of this thing. I had never heard of The War at Home. It says 1979 film. All right. The War at Home is a documentary film about the anti-war movement in Madison, Wisconsin area, in the Madison, Wisconsin area during the time of the Vietnam War. It combines archival footage and interviews with participants that explore the events of the period on the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus. The film was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature. Okay, I'm going to read the synopsis. I'm just scrolling to see. Okay, yeah. Here's a synopsis. The film focuses on student protests of government policies in the Vietnam War, clashes between students and police, and the responses of politicians and the public to the turmoil. Among the major events included is the Sterling Hall bombing. I've already got the tab open for this. Intended to destroy the Army Math Research Center in the building. The bombing also caused massive destruction to other parts of the building, resulting in the death of a physics researcher, Robert Fasnacht, who was not involved in the Army Math Research Center. Bomber Carlton Armstrong, brother of Dwight Armstrong, is interviewed for the film, as is Paul Soglin, an anti-war leader who went on to be mayor of Madison. Interesting. And again, in reception and legacy, they mention the Ministry song again. Dialogue from The War at Home was used as samples in the song Thieves by the band Ministry on the 1989 album The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Waste. Okay. Interesting. All right. Whew. All right. This seems like an interesting movie. I kind of want to watch it. Honestly. Apparently, again, it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature. That means somebody did something right. But then again, I don't know. Like, you know, just because a movie wins an Oscar, that doesn't mean it's good. You know, that might actually mean that it's not very good. Depends on the situation. But I don't know, something's telling me that you know, being nominated for an Academy Award, it means something. It means something. It means that the filmmaker and like whatever, caught the attention of an organization as famous and as prestiged as the Academy. Like, okay, that means something. Once again, what does it really mean? I don't know, but it does mean something. Now, let's see this. University of Wisconsin-Madison. Okay, University of Wisconsin-Madison. University of Wisconsin, UWW Madison, or simply Madison, is a public land-grant research university in Madison, Wisconsin, United States. It was founded in 1848 when Wisconsin achieved statehood and is both the official state university of Wisconsin and the flagship campus of the University of Wisconsin system. The 933-acre main campus is located on the shores of Lake Mendota and includes 4 national historical landmarks. The university also owns and operates the 1,200-acre University of Wisconsin-Madison Arboretum, 4 miles south of the main campus. Great. Okay, that's not why I'm here. All right, that's not why I'm here. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I need the tea. That's why I'm here. I need the tea. So the establishment, yeah, the history, establishment, 19th century, early 20th century. All right. 2-year, late 20th century to the present. This is what I'm looking for. Here it is. Late 20th century to the present. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, UW-Madison was shaken by a series of student protests and by the use of force by authorities in response, comprehensively documented in the film The War at Home. The first major demonstrations protested the presence on campus of recruiters for the Dow Chemical Company, which supplied the napalm used in the Vietnam War. Authorities used force to quell the disturbance. The struggle was documented in the book They Marched into Sunlight, as well as the PBS documentary 2 Days in October. Among the students injured in the protest was former Madison Mayor Paul Soglin. Okay. Another target of the protest was the Army Mathematics Research Center, AMRC, in Sterling Hall, which was also the home of the physics department. The student newspaper, the Daily Cardinal, published a series of investigative articles stating that AMRC was pursuing research directly pursuant to U.S. Department of Defense requests and supportive of military operations in Vietnam. AMRC became a magnet for demonstrations in which protesters chanted U.S. out of Vietnam, smash Army math. On August 24, 1970, near 3:40 a.m., a bomb exploded next to Sterling Hall, aimed at destroying the Army Math Research Center. Despite the late hour, a postdoctoral physics researcher, Robert Fasnacht, was in the lab and was killed in the explosion. The physics department was severely damaged, while the intended target, the AMRC, was scarcely affected. Carlton Armstrong, Dwight Armstrong, and David Fine were found responsible for the blast. Leo Burt was identified as a suspect, but was never apprehended or tried. Interesting. Okay, so this is such an important event in the history of the University of Wisconsin at Madison that they included it on their Wikipedia page. Okay, the stuff that they're talking about in the documentary film The War at Home. All right? Poof. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Okay, so again, I'll put this in the Wikipedia page for the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I'll put it in the description if you want to go through more of these, more information. But of course, I'm concentrating on the bombing at Sterling Hall, which has its own page, don't you know? The Sterling Hall bombing occurred at the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus on August 24, 1970, and was committed by 4 men as an action against the university's research connections with the U.S. military during the Vietnam War. It resulted in the death of a university physics researcher and injuries to 3 others. Let's read. Let's read. Oh, I don't know if I want to read all of this. This is a lot. This is a lot. Okay, hold on. Okay, overview. Sterling Hall is centrally located on the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus. The bomb set off at 3:42 a.m. on August 24, 1970, was intended to destroy the Army Mathematics Research Center, AMRC, housed on the second, third, and fourth floors of the building. It caused massive destruction to other parts of the building and nearby buildings as well. It included the death... Okay, we already talked about that. But in the physics department, but neither Fasnacht nor the physics department itself was involved with or employed by the Army Mathematics Research Center. I don't think I need to talk about how they did it or what they used. No. But Army Mathematics Research Center, during the Vietnam War, the second, third, and fourth floors of the southern east-west wing of Sterling Hall housed the Army Mathematics Research Center. This was an Army-funded think tank directed by J. Barclay Rosser Sr. I don't know who that is, but okay. The staff at the center at the time of the bombing consisted of about 45 mathematicians, about 30 of them full-time. Rosser was well known for his research in pure mathematics, logic, Rosser's trick, and the Kleene-Rosser paradox, and the Church-Rosser theorem, and in number theory. Rosser had been the head of U.S. ballistics. Well, damn, wait a minute. Rosser had been the head of the U.S. ballistics program during World War II, and had also contributed to research on several missiles used by the U.S. military. Well, that's interesting. The money to build a home for AMRC came from the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation in 1955. Their money built a 6th-floor addition to Sterling Hall. In the contract to work at the facility, it was required that mathematicians spend at least half their time on U.S. Army research. Well, that's interesting. Rosser publicly minimized any military role of the center and implied that AMRC pursued mathematics, including both pure and applied mathematics. The University of Wisconsin student newspaper, the Daily Cardinal, obtained and published quarterly reports that AMRC submitted to the Army. The Cardinal published a series of investigative articles making a convincing case that the AMRC was pursuing research that was directly pursuant to specific U.S. Department of Defense requests and relevant to counterinsurgency operations at Vietnam. AMRC became a magnet for demonstrations in which protesters chanted U.S. out of Vietnam, smash Army math. The Army Mathematics Research Center was phased out by the Department of Defense at the end of the 1970 fiscal year. Oh, the year of the bombing? Is that? Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah. Well, wait. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, now that's some tea. Okay, so it talks about the bombers, Carleton, Blackman Armstrong, Dwight Armstrong, I guess they were brothers, yeah, David Fine, and Leo Burt, the one that is still at large. Okay, and then it talks about the victims. Okay, so I looked at the Wikipedia pages of the bombers. The only one that doesn't have a Wikipedia page, hold on, yeah, Dwight Armstrong, Leo Burt, and David Fine have Wikipedia pages, but Carleton does not. I don't know what to think of that. I mean, I know it's just Wikipedia, but like, why do they not have a page? Every time you click, if you see his name, Carleton Blackman Armstrong or Carleton Armstrong, and you click on it, it just redirects back to this page about the Sterling Hall bombing. You don't get to know about this person, which makes me extremely suspicious, which means that I should read his little thing on the Wikipedia page here. Hold on, I have to blow my nose. 1 second. Okay, and before I read the part about the one who doesn't have a Wikipedia page, Carleton Blackman Armstrong, I will leave the links for the Wikipedia pages for the other three in the description. Dwight Armstrong, Leo Burt, and David Fine. And I'm doing that so you could look at them, whenever you want. These guys, something isn't making sense to me. I'll just go ahead and say it out loud right away, so there don't gotta be no question in your mind as to how I feel. Uh-uh, uh-uh. No, absolutely not. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Okay? Something is... Hold on. Wait a minute. I just gotta look this up really quick. David Fine, he went to the Wilmington Friends School. Notable alumni. Let me see. Yeah, Ashley Biden. I knew it. I remember reading that somewhere, that one of the Biden kids went to this school. And I think, if I'm not maybe it doesn't say it here, but I'm not gonna, don't quote me on this, but I think like the Obama children also went to, maybe not this school, but definitely a Quaker school. Ay, ay, ay. And you're telling me David Fine, one of the bombers, went to the same school? I mean, if one of the Biden kids is going to this school, you know it's ritzy. You know they don't let just anybody in there. Oh, see what I mean? I'm not like we're dealing with the mathematics here, the what is it called? The Army Mathematics Research Center. What do the young people say nowadays? The math isn't mathing. Well, okay, this isn't really math, but like something isn't making sense to me about this event. And that's why we're here. Remember why we're here? Because of this song, Thieves by Ministry, and it samples stuff from Full Metal Jacket, one quote from Richard Nixon, and then a couple of them from this movie, this documentary, The War at Home, all right, which deals exclusively with the Sterling Hall bombing at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Okay, so, we have information. Wikipedia pages, like I said, Dwight Armstrong, David Fine, and Leo Burt. One of these three is, okay, Dwight Armstrong is dead. David Fine became a lawyer, but like, not really. And Leo Burt, they still don't know where he is. Okay, but but those three have Wikipedia pages. Carlton Blackman Armstrong, no Wikipedia page. Let me read this thing. Carl was the oldest of the bombers. He had been admitted to the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 1964, but left in 1965, working odd jobs for the next couple of years. Okay, that's already suspicious. Like, why did he drop out? They don't tell us that. Okay, fine. He was reaccepted into the university in the fall of 1967. Carl witnessed violent confrontations between protesters and police on October 18, 1967, when Dow Chemical Company held job interviews on campus, which many students protested by blocking the building where interviews were being held. Okay. Before the Sterling Hall bombing, Carl had committed other acts of anti-war violence, including setting fire to an ROTC installation at the University of Wisconsin Armory, the Red Gym, and bombing what he thought was the state's Selective Service headquarters, but turned out to be the University of Wisconsin Primate Research Center. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Really? Bombing what he thought was the state's Selective Service headquarters, but turned out to be the University of Wisconsin Primate Research Center? Are you kidding me? Oh no, do you see why I'm doubting all of this? I'm not saying this didn't happen. No, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that the Sterling Hall bombing didn't happen. No, I'm saying like, something ain't right with this story. How could you confuse a Selective Service headquarters with the primate research? That's a joke. That's not real. That's a joke. Oh my God. Ooh. I mean, it's a bad joke, but it's a joke. Carl also attempted to plant explosives at a Prairie du Sac electrical substation that supplied power to the Badger ammunition plant, but was frightened off by the night watchman. Oh, real hero. Okay, like, okay, I'm gonna go back to this for a second. Do you see the joke? The Selective Service Headquarters, he thought that the Primate Research Center, where they research apes, monkeys, he thought that was where they recruit people to join the military. Do you see, like, the shade? He's saying that the people who go into the military are apes. Whew. I don't know about this guy. I just don't. Anyway, after the bombing, I mean, I wanted to clear that up just in case you wondered why I was like, you gotta be kidding me about this. Like, now you know what caught my eye. Anyway, after the bombing, Carl went into hiding for 18 months until his capture in Toronto on February 16, 1972. Listen to this shit. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison, but served only 7. Well, like, what? Why? Why did he serve only 7 out of 23 years? He killed somebody. I thought murder was a crime. But, okay, he served only 7 years out of 20. Like, why? Good behavior? Is that why he got out early? Didn't even spend half that time there? 23 years is 11 and a half. Half of it would be 11 and a half years. No, he's 7. Like, who pulled the strings that needed to be pulled in order for him to get out of prison 16 years before he was supposed to get out? Really? Okay. After his release, Armstrong returned to Madison, where he opened a juice cart called Loose Juice on the Library Mall. In the early 2000s, he opened a deli called Radical Rye on State Street near the UW-Madison campus, which he operated until it was displaced by the development of the Overture Center. What's the Overture Center? Overture Center for the Arts is a performing arts center and art gallery. Okay, never mind. Okay, but again, why did he get out of prison early? And why is there no Wikipedia page about this guy? Something doesn't make sense. What the hell was really going on here? Who are these people? The bombers. Carlton Armstrong, Dwight Armstrong, David Fine, Leo Burt. Like, who were these people really? And like I said, I'm not going to go through all of their Wikipedia pages. Hold on. Dwight Armstrong, yeah, he's dead. Something is not making sense to me about this event. I mean, allegedly, these people, you know, they didn't like the Vietnam War. Okay, a bunch of people didn't like the Vietnam War, but they didn't go bombing shit. Okay, and they made it to the FBI 10 most wanted fugitives list. Okay, that means that what they did was pretty bad. This one, Dwight, he was operating a meth lab. How interesting. Really? Really? Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, again, this doesn't tell us a lot about this guy. You read this whole thing. Read this whole thing for Dwight Armstrong, the brother of Carlton. You know, it looks like it's telling you some stuff about him. But not really. Not really. I don't know. Anyway, next one, Leo Burt. Hold on. He has been a fugitive from justice since 1970, and his status and whereabouts are unknown. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. He went to a bunch of Catholic schools. Interesting. Very interesting. Sterling Hall bombing. Okay, life as a fugitive. They still don't know where he is. Huh. Early life. Okay. Okay. All right. And then there's David Sylvan Fine, American anti-Vietnam War radical who was one of 4 perpetrators of the August 24th, 1970 Sterling Hall bombing on the campus, University of Wisconsin-Madison, etc., etc. Okay. He spent 5.5 years as a fugitive after the incident. Okay. He went to that really ritzy Quaker-run school that I told you about in Wilmington, Delaware. All right. He... Okay. Life as a fugitive, capture and trial. Ugh. I don't know what to think. I could have sworn that one of these guys was somehow connected to that organization that kidnapped Patty Hearst. I don't want to tell a lie, but I thought, that one of these guys was connected to that, and now I'm wondering like why I can't find the thing. Life as a fugitive. Yeah. I'm looking for it. Hold on. Let me look for it for a second. There we go. Found it. It's Carlton's brother, Dwight Armstrong. Carl's younger brother was 19 at the time of the bombing. After the bombing, he lived in a commune in Toronto under the name Virgo. After a few months, he left the commune, traveled first to Vancouver, and then on to San Francisco, where he connected with the Symbionese Liberation Army, SLA, which was holding Patty Hearst at the time. It is believed he was not active in the SLA. Okay, whatever. Then why did he connect with them? Like, we're not being told anything. Like, Dave McGowan was right. They are not telling us a lot of stuff about, like, all of these protest groups and whatever. Ugh. Okay. Is that why? That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm going through these Wikipedia pages. I don't know anything. I am speculating. I'm suspicious. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, people. I am suspicious. I don't know what the hell's going on. Something's telling me something ain't right. And I can't put my finger on it. But, I'm presenting the information here that I found easily accessible online on Wikipedia. Wikipedia is for everybody. Is that why Al and Ogre wrote this song and used these samples? Are they trying to tell us something? That these events in the media, in the news, are not everything that you think they are? Or they're not what they look like they obviously are? Okay, he's using Full Metal Jacket. We know about Full Metal Jacket. We know. If you're here and you're riding with me on my videos, on my channel, you know. Like, again, Mrs. Stashy, hey, how are you? She said, yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, if you're a Kubrickologist, what that basically means is that whatever you think you're seeing, no, that's not it. There's something else going on. Yep, I think so. I think you nailed it. And that's the thing with Full Metal Jacket. Whatever you see in Full Metal Jacket, it's not, we're being told that story by an unreliable narrator. We're being told, like, the news, the freaking news, The War at Home, who did this documentary. I don't have time to research that, but, the news coverage of this event and coverage, of the bombers, the bombing itself and the bombers. Like, can we really believe the news? Can we really trust the media? We shouldn't at this point in history. If you have even I'm not saying like wear a tinfoil hat. No, I'm saying watch them closely. If you're watching the news, don't even watch the news to be informed, because like that's the last thing you're going to get from watching the news, information or education or what we call knowledge. No, but like watch it anyway, because it's like entertaining to see how they're lying to you. And like it's like a little game trying to figure out like how they're lying to you. And then after you've like got a good handle on how they're lying to you, then like ask yourself why. Okay? After you figure out the how, then like get to figuring out the why. It's interesting. It's fun, right? Aren't we having fun in these videos of mine? Anyway, again, Wilmington Friends School, a private Quaker-run school attended by the children of presidents. Ooh, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Anyway, so one last stop before we get off this ride up in here. All right, this is the last kind of phase of this video, okay? Boom. This is an article from Medium, and it's written by somebody who calls themselves Max Plachetta. October 6, 2023. It's a 2-minute read. You know I'm going to read it to you. Look at the title. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all here, I think. The Connections of Wisconsin to the Manhattan Project. Let's do it. All right. It's not a huge article. It's like just basically one huge paragraph. More than a dozen people who worked on making and testing the first atomic bomb were from the University of Wisconsin in Madison. The most important people out of approximately 130,000 people who worked on the project were J. Robert Oppenheimer, Joseph McKibben, Joan Hinton, and Hugh Richards. J. Robert Oppenheimer is the most well-known out of all the people. He studied at the University of Madison and made a small particle accelerator that set him up to be perfect for what the government wanted to do, along with the rest of the people who all studied or worked at the University of Wisconsin. The Trinity test is the code name for the atomic bomb test, but the government refused to believe that they did any harm to the people, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists and an article, no link, that they published there where... oh dear, who did this? In an article that they published there where infant deaths because of the radiation from the tests and the public didn't know it was full of radiation for a while. Okay, I don't know who wrote this thing, but it's a mess. For a while, and people were exposed to radiation, giving some people cancer and harming people, along with at least 24 people died during the making and testing of the bomb. According to the Nuclear Museum, people were really hurt during the testing, but it was important because some people think that we would still be at war with Japan. Who wrote this? Well, I guess Max, huh? But without the 4 people that I named, and countless others were important, according to the American Museum of Natural History, most people did not know that Einstein never worked directly on the atomic bomb and did not like the idea of it. Hinton said, "As one who touched with my own hands the very bomb which was dropped on Nagasaki, I feel a deep sense of guilt and shame at the part I played in this crime against humanity." I don't give a shit. This means that not all of the people working on the test did not agree with what the technology was used for. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry about this. I saw the info there, and I went for it, but I got another article, a little better one, I think. Better grammar, spelling, punctuation, everything. It says, this is Madison Magazine. Okay. What is Madison's connection to Oppenheimer and the secret Manhattan Project? More than a dozen people connected to UW-Madison spent time at Los Alamos. I guess maybe this article is plagiarizing from this one. I'm just a hunch. More than a dozen people connected to UW-Madison spent time at Los Alamos National Laboratory, where the atomic bomb was developed. Okay, this was written last year, October 2023. Okay. This picture that you're looking at is the Trinity test, the first atomic bomb ever detonated in the world. Took place on the White Sands Missile Range in 1945. A UW-Madison postdoctoral fellow pushed the button. Interesting. How long is this article? Okay, it's not so bad. All right, hold on. Yeah, we got that. Okay, I'll read it to you. I'll try to do it quickly. Less than 10 weeks after the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. On August 6, 1945, a front-page article in the Wisconsin State Journal carried this headline: "Secret UW research helped create a bomb." The story began, "Had it not been for the atom smasher perfected by a University of Wisconsin professor, as well as the work of other members of the university faculty, the war with Japan might be going on today." Yep. I'm not even going to link this article on Medium because obviously they just cut and paste from this one. I clicked out of it. Yeah, the war with Japan might be going on today. Really? Okay. I have yet to see this summer's hit film Oppenheimer, in which Cillian Murphy plays J. Robert Oppenheimer, the first director of the Los Alamos National Laboratory where the bomb was developed. But a note from a friend suggesting there was some intriguing Madison ties to the bomb development, codenamed the Manhattan Project, piqued my interest. The State Journal story, dated October 16, 1945, noted that more than a dozen individuals who either taught or studied at the University of Wisconsin-Madison spent time at Los Alamos. More than a dozen. 3 of them, Joseph McKibben, Joan Hinton, and Hugh Richards, I found particularly compelling. McKibben and Hinton are referenced in the 1945 State Journal piece. Richards arrived in Madison in 1946, but he stayed the longest, taking emeritus status as a UW-Madison physics professor in 1988. McKibben, a lanky Missouri farm boy, according to a 1995 Albuquerque Journal article, was a postdoctoral fellow at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where he earned a Ph.D. in physics in the early 1940s. His wife gave birth to a daughter in April 1942 at Madison General Hospital. According to a 1980 Los Alamos Monitor story, at the time of his retirement, McKibben had been working in Madison on a generator capable of accelerating atomic particles. When McKibben was chosen to join the Manhattan Project, the article noted, he brought the accelerator with him. Interesting. McKibben wound up at the control panel when the atomic bomb was first detonated at a site south of Los Alamos in a test that was codenamed Trinity. Joe McKibben is remembered as the guy who pushed the button. Miles away in a bunker, the Albuquerque Journal noted. McKibben told the paper that he didn't see Oppenheimer, though the director was there. "I was told that he came in the door and observed me at the controls and went away," McKibben said. According to the Los Alamos Monitor story, after the test, McKibben almost returned to the University of Wisconsin. What held him in New Mexico was the chance to build a bigger accelerator. In his interview for that 1980 story, McKibben, who died in 2001, made a comment that may resonate today, 43 years later. Quote, "I've often said that future generations will picket coal-fired plants. The health problems of nuclear power are orders of magnitude lower than burning coal." What the hell? Oh, I'll read that again. He made a comment that may resonate today, 43 years later. "I've often said that future generations will picket coal-fired plants. The health problems of nuclear power are orders of magnitude lower than burning coal." What are you trying to tell us, sir? Why can't you just say it out loud? Ooh, this is why I need to do these videos. Y'all, this is why I need to analyze Stanley Kubrick films, where at a place where you can see me or hear me doing it. This is why I need to, show you ministry songs. If I find another song, I'm going to bring it to you. Yes, I am. Are orders of magnitude lower than burning coal. What? Don't you find that suspicious? Don't you find that suspicious? Okay, let me finish this. Joan Hinton's 2010 New York Times obituary noted the following. Miss Hinton was recruited for the Manhattan Project in February 1944 while still a graduate student in physics at the University of Wisconsin. When the first bomb was detonated on July 16, 1945, she and a colleague riding a motorcycle dodged Army Jeep patrols and hid near a small hill about 25 miles from the blast site to witness the event. Okay. The Chicago-born Hinton earned a Ph.D. in physics at UW-Madison in 1944. The Times obit noted that Hinton thought the bomb demonstration would be used to hasten a Japanese surrender. When it was actually deployed, she became an outspoken peace activist, and indeed moved to China, a committed Maoist. Oh my God. On October 1952, an October 1952 front-page Wisconsin State Journal story quoted Hinton speaking at conference in Beijing, as this is the quote, as one who touched with my own hands the very bomb which was dropped on Nagasaki. I feel a deep sense of guilt and shame at the part I played in this crime against humanity. Okay. Oh boy. Here's the last little bit. Hugh Richards grew up in is it Plateville or Platteville, attended Park College in Missouri, and earned a Ph.D. in physics from Rice University. Recruited for the Manhattan Project in 1943, his area of expertise, according to a 2006 Capital Times obituary, was neutron measurements of the atomic bomb. Oh, good Lord. In a 1995 oral history interview with the Wisconsin Veterans Museum Research Center, Richards described his experience in New Mexico as the Trinity test detonated. I was located at the base camp, which was 9.7 miles from ground zero. We'd been issued dark welder's goggles and instructed to lie down away from the blast, ground zero. And we had done that, and we heard the countdown over the loudspeaker, 9, 7, 6, and so forth. Okay. And as time zero came, my first reaction was that someone had sort of slapped me on the face, and it was heat radiation, reflected from the atmosphere and the mountains that around that came, of course, very quickly. Of course, you didn't hear anything. You didn't hear anything. Okay. At 9.7 miles, it takes about a minute for the shock wave sound to get there. But then we could stand up and turn around and look through the welder's goggles at the blast. Well, that's interesting. The mushroom cloud, and it indeed was impressive. And as it lessened, we could take off the goggles and look at it directly. So it was indeed very impressive and a very sobering experience. At UW-Madison, shortly after the war, Richards gave a 1946 interview to the Wisconsin State Journal that was headlined, "A bomb over square would wipe out city," Richards says. Okay. The story says Richards was helping reinstall the accelerator that had been returned from Los Alamos. He was quoted, "The complacency of the people toward the bomb is a frightening thing." All right, one more time, you guys. Don't you find that suspicious? Who was complacent? Who is he addressing? Who is he talking to? Who are these complacent people? And you know, their complacency towards the bomb is a frightening thing. Okay. In 1993, Richard published a book about his experience titled Through Los Alamos 1945, Memoirs of a Nuclear Physicist. In later years, when Richards was interviewed, it was more often about another bomb, the August 1970 blast that destroyed his physics lab in Sterling Hall. Ooh, interesting. Let me read this last little bit. On the 30th anniversary of that, on the 30th anniversary of that bombing, an anti-Vietnam War protest act that killed a young researcher, Richards told the State Journal how one of his faculty colleagues had installed Venetian blinds to repel stones that might be thrown at windows by protesters. "I thought he was paranoid," Richards said. "He wasn't as paranoid as I thought." Oh my. Okay, gonna definitely leave this in the description for you to look at, to read. Maybe you saw some stuff that I missed. Let me know. This is an interesting article that is quite... Is it that long, or does it just look long? Maybe these letters are nice and big. This is, and again, this is, I found this. I thought it was interesting. This is from last year, December 31st, 2023. They're still writing about this thing. It happened in 1970. That was a long ass time ago. But they're still writing about it. Army Math, this is from Media Milwaukee, Student Powered News, University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Okay. And it says Army Math Research Center. What was it really doing? Oh. Are you curious? Listen, I'm going to read it. If you want to listen to it, it's your choice. If you don't, you can click off. That's up to you. I think, you know, this article here in the Madison magazine, you know, that was interesting. That was real interesting. This looks like it's going to be interesting too. Let me go and take a coffee break. So I've got this article and then this last one that mentions, you guessed it, Richard Feynman. Here it is. Okay. Who graduated? Looks like he graduated. Did he graduate from the University of Wisconsin? Oh, or not. I don't know. We'll see. But let me go ahead and take a coffee break. This is overwhelming, isn't it? And we're here reading about the University of Wisconsin-Madison and its connections to the Manhattan Project, the creation and detonation of the atomic bomb and the use of it in Japan and whatever, because of the Sterling Hall bombing, because of the movie The War at Home, the documentary, because of the song Thieves by Ministry. Okay? That's why we're here. I didn't know until I started checking and looking and clicking and, you know, Googling and what have you, all of these different things. I didn't know that the University of Wisconsin, specifically at Madison, was so deeply connected to the Manhattan Project, which is like one of my pet like research topics because of Stanley, because I'm a Kubrickologist. Oh my God. You guys, let me know before, I'm going on a coffee break. I can't wait to read your comments. Let me know in the comments, like, am I onto something? Is, you know, did, what do they call him? Uncle Al Jourgensen? Like, is he providing like breadcrumbs for those of us who know where to look for them? Y'all, tell me. And if you're a Ministry fan and you think I'm full of shit, that's fine. You don't have to watch this video. You can leave. But thanks for being here. But anyway, I'm going to go take my little coffee break. Come back, read this. Army Math Research Center. What was it really doing? I want to know. So I'll go have my cup and then I'll come back and we'll wrap it up with this. So sit tight. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody. I'm back. And I'm going to read this article from Media Milwaukee, University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Okay. I feel compelled to do this. So again, if you're bored, I'm sorry. You can definitely click off. If you're intrigued, stay with me. So here we go. Army Math Research Center. What was it really doing? Anti-war activists attending University of Wisconsin-Madison during the Vietnam War era knew that their school was making millions of dollars assisting the military in the application of research. Certainly, people were finally hearing about the war crimes happening in the Far East, and one could wonder if their Midwest university would contribute to them. During the FOIA-requested examination of the Sterling Hall bombing defendants' court files, Media Milwaukee staff found an official document from the Army's Office of the Chief of Research and Development in Washington, dated September 1st, 1966, that outlined some purposes of the AMRC. Okay, there's a picture of the entrance to Sterling Hall. All right. The official contract lists purposes of the AMRC as, quote, carrying on mathematical research which has relevance to problems that exist or are inherent to Army operations, end quote, providing the Army, quote, a source of advice and assistance with respect to the solution of mathematical problems, end quote, making technical, quote, technical studies when requested of the use of mathematics by Army activities and make recommendation as to the implementation of the conclusion of such studies, end quote. Cooperating with Army recruitment of scientific personnel, providing a facility for, quote, stimulating scientific contracts between Army-specific personnel and other scientists, end quote, and spreading, quote, acquaintance of the Army's problems among civilian mathematicians to the end of increasing their capabilities for assisting the government in the event of a national emergency, end quote. Okay. What the hell? Does that sound like... What does that sound like to you? Sounds like, you know, lots of words that don't really tell you much. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, let's keep reading. Despite the verbose language in the document, one thing is clear. The Army Math Research Center in Sterling Hall was working to benefit the United States military in some capacity during the years that the Vietnam War took place and received millions of dollars while doing it. A quarterly report for the AMRC from January 1973 through the end of that March detailed that total monetary disbursements in that period totaled $8,825,613. That translates to a real value of about $60 million in 2023. Interesting. In an official correspondence in the court files from former UW-Madison Dean of College and Letters and Science, Stephen C. Kleen, he said that students who were anti-war advocates hoped to be able to establish that members of the AMRC were engaged in various sorts of nefarious military activities, such as devising a more pervasive nerve gas or drawing secret blueprints for the ABM. But he also said that the AMRC is doing something of value to the military since the Army is supporting it. I always replied that certainly the MRC is doing research of value to the Army, said Kleen. Indeed, it is my responsibility as director to assure that it does. Oh my goodness. According to Kleen, the Army appreciates fully the value of entrusting to the capable staff of the MRC the choice areas of research which will produce results of practical value. He said that this point in the Army release was a hang-up in interviews with student inquisitors. At the same time that the MRC is generating new mathematical principles of widespread value and hence value to the Army, it is undertaking to see that Army mathematicians learn of these and learn how they may be used, said Kleen. Kleen also said, in most of the 6 enclosed descriptions of what the MRC does, efforts have been made to explain that carrying on basic mathematical research of one's own choice can indeed lead to results of monetary value. According to an interview with Jim Rowan in the 1979 The War at Home documentary, a writer for the UW-Madison student news publication The Daily Cardinal, he had requested a copy of the 1967 annual report of AMRC research conducted. When he got this initial copy, there was an 8-page section censored out with a note reading, "This material is considered classified and not for public release." Despite this roadblock in finding out what the research of the AMRC was contributing to, Jim Rowan noticed that the table of contents in the report listed the censored section as Assistant to Project Michigan. Kleen said that the primary means of communicating research results was writing technical summary reports on these mathematic principles and distributing them to Army installations where the results could be applied. Oh my God. According to the files examined, among the theories researched by the AMRC that proved of value to the military were game theories, such as John von Neumann and Stanislaw Ulam's Monte Carlo method, Martin Fox and George S. Kimmeldorf's noisy duels problem, spleen functions, or spline function, I'm not sure, and indeed Project Michigan. What the hell is Project Michigan? I'm going to have to look that up some other time. The AMRC, although a major point of contention on the UW-Madison campus through the 1960s, was contained only on the second, third, and fourth floors of Sterling Hall. The basement and first floors were occupied by the physics department. Okay, now hold on one second. Okay, so I just had to look up what Project Michigan was, so I clicked on this link, and it opened up to this. This is the title of the paper, Evolving Military Intelligence, the Effects of the Military Intelligence Service, MIS, and the Military Intelligence Organization, MIO, during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. Oh my. Oh my. You can click on it too. I'm leaving this article in the description. Go ahead. Do what you want to do. Anyway, the basement and first floor were occupied by the physics department. Okay. Alrighty. One of these physics department postdoctoral researchers, Robert Fasnacht, was killed the night that Carl and Dwight Armstrong, David Fine, and Leo Burt detonated an ANFO bomb in a van parked on a ramp on the basement level of Sterling Hall. Fasnacht was not contributing research to war efforts, according to fellow postdoctoral and graduate students who knew what Fasnacht had been working on at the time of his death. Robert Fasnacht, called Bob by his friends, was said to be on the edge of a breakthrough in superconductivity at absolute zero temperatures. His life and years' worth of research, along with other valuable research, was destroyed in the bombing of Sterling Hall on August 24th, 1970. Okay, you guys. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? That maybe the real target of this bombing was not the, what is it called? The AMRC? Is it AMRC or AMRC? Was not really the AMRC, but the real target was like the place that actually got damaged the most, which was the physics department. And some poor guy died. Robert Fasnacht. He was working on the edge of a breakthrough in superconductivity at absolute zero temperatures. And these people have the nerve to say that whatever this Fasnacht person was working on had no military application. Really? A superconductor? Superconductivity at absolute zero temperatures? Like the military couldn't use that? Really? Okay. His life and years worth of research, along with other valuable research, was destroyed in the bombing of Sterling Hall okay, so I think they destroyed exactly what they were trying to destroy. I'm just saying. Whatever. One of the four men charged with the bombing of Sterling Hall and the death of Fasnacht, Carlton Armstrong, 77, said that the whole success of the bombing depended on just property destruction. Really? Okay, the one who doesn't have a Wikipedia page. Carlton. When Fasnacht was killed and others were injured, I knew that we were defeated, Armstrong said. The highest criteria was only going to be property damage. Now I know that we had just completely blown it. Okay. I mean, literally and figuratively? Carlton. Oh my God. He acknowledged the bombing as being irresponsible and that one has to expect that an outcome like death and injury could happen. That was the furthest thing in our minds, said Armstrong. We thought that we had the ideal time to do the bombing. Huh. This is a photo of Robert Fasnacht, okay? When speaking to Laura Smale in an interview submitted to the UW-Madison archives, Henry Haslach, who worked as a TA for UW-Madison Math Department in 1976, said many other anti-war advocates and people on campus who had the inside scoop about the AMRC. The university was abstractly working with the U.S. military to aid in advancing warfare. if they get the if they get the research, then they can just put it together for what they want, said Haslach. However, this was a point of conflict with some others on campus at the time. Frank Scarpace, who worked with Robert Fastnacht as a graduate student, denied that the AMRC building was doing anything for the pro-war affection for the government. He told Media Milwaukee reporter Jackson Minsel that Madison never accepted classified research. They were fighting the wrong people, said Scarpace. We were always apolitical, doing things that in general we thought were helping people. So now this is the guy. This guy is talking. Who is he? Scarpace. He's saying that the AMRC was not doing anything pro-war. Again, the AMRC was the alleged target of the bombings, but the place that really got damaged was the physics department. Like, okay, let me just leave it there. In a series of interviews conducted by Media Milwaukee journalists, there were many claims about the various research activities the AMRC was conducting and the Army benefits connected to them. Carl Armstrong said that he knew that the university had been working to benefit the military. The Army Math Research Center was responsible for developing the mathematics for bombing the Viet Cong. In Vietnam, part of the mathematics used with infrared devices actually tracked down Che Guevara in Bolivia. Armstrong told Media Milwaukee reporters, alluding to Project Michigan, it was very useful to the U.S. Army. I just showed you the document. You can look at it later if you want. He said that although he never intended to kill Fastnacht and has regret for that, he feels that the bombing was righteous in the sense that it sent the right message to the federal government in Washington, D.C. They realized that they had to bring the war to an end, said Armstrong. In my way of thinking, maybe it saved a few 100,000 people's lives. Leslie A. Balaise, the current curator of social history and the Wisconsin Historical Society, said that the AMRC was devising strategies for more efficiently killing North Vietnamese and Viet Cong soldiers. Former mayor of Madison and anti-war activist Paul Soglin said that an example of the kinds of projects the AMRC would work on was calculating the mathematics of launching a missile and then trying to intercept it with another missile. Lester Pines was between his sophomore and junior years at UW-Madison in the summer of 1970 when the Sterling Hall bombing occurred. Exactly, it happened during the summer. It happened in August. School usually is out in August. Wait a minute. Oh, something to think about. Hold on. When the student 5 years later, he was admitted to practice law in Wisconsin. 6 years later, David Fine's family hired him to represent the fugitive in the first part of the federal criminal process, the initial appearance and arraignment. Pine said that the bomber's objective in the bombing was to destroy the AMRC, that in part of its research was aiding in the war by providing information to Project Michigan. Much of the research was gone, said Frank Scarpace. People's theses were typewritten and bombs destroy paper as well as people. I'm telling you. Like, you know. Okay, they were trying to, allegedly. I still don't think that their real target was the AMRC. I think it was the physics department. You guys let me know. Okay. What did I read in one of the Wikipedia things? That after this happened, that... Hold on. Didn't they close something? After, like in 1970? At the end of the year? I read that somewhere. I know I said that somewhere in the, hold on, was it Sterling? Okay, Sterling Hall bombing. Okay, there it goes. The Army Mathematics Research Center was phased out by the Department of Defense at the end of the 1970 fiscal year. Is that a result of the bombing? Did they cave? Did they just You know, were they so, what about this bombing scared them so much that the AMRC was phased out by the Department of Defense at the end of the 1970 fiscal year? Again, we don't know. We really don't know who these bombers really are or who they're really working for. We have no idea because we're the public and they tell us nothing. But, you know, what were these? The fact that they still can't find one of them. One of them was sentenced to 23 years but only served 7. One of them's dead. And another one, I guess, Carlton, the one who doesn't have a Wikipedia page, he's still alive out there somewhere, 77, 78 years old, and seems to have lived like a nice life after all of this. Like, what the hell? What the hell? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, last tab, and then I'm finished. Okay, says on Wisconsin. This is the website on Wisconsin, uwalumni.com. Okay, teaching and learning. I don't know what year this is. I don't know like what this is, but here it is. 2 who got away. UW Madison is rightly proud of its faculty. Its professors include some of the world's brightest minds. UW faculty have brought home an impressive collection of hardware over the years, including 7 Nobel Prizes. Most recently, UW scientists contributed to the UN's International Panel on Climate Change. Really? Which won the 2007 Nobel Peace Prize. But the UW very nearly hired 2 others who were destined to win Nobels. Both of them slipped through the university's fingers in a 2-year period. First one is Milton Friedman. Okay, whatever. We're not here to talk about Milton Friedman. This guy. He's connected to the Manhattan Project very closely. He worked on it. Richard Feynman, UW 1942, Nobel 1965. Okay. In July 1942, the University of Wisconsin Press Bulletin, essentially a collection of press releases that the UW compiled for state newspapers, included a small blurb. 2 appointments were made to the Department of Physics, it read, Felix Adler and R.P. Feynman, now at Princeton University, will come to Wisconsin in the fall as assistant professors. Now, this is written in July 1942. So they were talking about the fall of 1942. Okay. Feynman would never take up the post, and the UW would not be able to send a press release explaining why. The university had granted him leave so that he could work on the greatest national secret of the age, the Manhattan Project. Okay. As an undergrad at MIT, Feynman had made a name for himself as a brilliant nuclear physicist. Even before earning his bachelor's, he was already developing the theories about the behavior of subatomic particles that would earn him a Nobel Prize in Physics in 1965. That reputation also drew the attention of Robert Oppenheimer, who recruited him to join the effort to build an atomic bomb. Instead of going to Madison, Feynman relocated to Los Alamos, New Mexico, and he spent the rest of the war solving problems in atomic fission. In June 1945, an impatient Mark Ingram, dean of the College of Letters and Science, sent Feynman a letter demanding that he return to campus and start teaching classes. Feynman stayed in Los Alamos and a month later watched as the first atom bomb detonated. After the war, he easily found work with Cornell and then Caltech. During the decades after the war, Feynman became a star in the field of QED, or quantum electrodynamics. His work was recognized by the Nobel Prize Committee, which granted him a joint prize, along with other QED pioneers Julian Schwinger and Shinichiro Tomonaga. Years later, Feynman finally returned to Madison. "It's great to be back," he told the crowd, "at the only university that had the good sense to fire me." Okay, so this was in the winter 2017 issue. Interesting. Interesting. Now, okay. I don't know, you guys. What do you think? What do you think? All right? What do you think? This song, this song, yes, Thieves, Thieves, by Ministry, songwriters Al Jourgensen, Paul Barker, Chris Connolly, and Nivek Ogre, also known as Kevin Ogilvy, or that's his, that's his government name, Kevin Ogilvy. This is where I started. All right. And because it has samples from, where are we? Yeah. Full Metal Jacket. And of course, Richard Nixon and the movie, The War at Home. Like, something tells me that Al, and probably all the other writers of the song, saw this movie, The War at Home. I don't know if they did any deep research about it and said, okay, what's really going on with this Sterling Hall bombing event? But, it's interesting. It says, we are fighting for the liberation of man, not the rights of these pigs, the rights of society. We're going to rip this motherfucker off. We're going to tear this motherfucker down. I hope they realize that this is their last goddamn chance. Power to the people. Now, who says these lines in the documentary? I don't know. Where's the Genius lyrics? Here's the Genius lyrics page. Verse 1, thieves and liars, murderers, hypocrites and bastards, in laughter, and then get up. That's a sample from Sergeant Hartman. Get up, get on your feet. Verse 2, hey, thanks for nothing. Morals in the dust, two-faced bastards and sycophants, no trust. And then here's the sample from The War at Home. We are fighting for the liberation of minds, not for the liberation of this pig and racist society. Okie dokie. Here's the next one. Chorus. Thieves, liar, thieves, liar, thieves, liar, thieves, liar. Inside, outside, which side, you don't know. My side, your side, their side, we don't know. Which side today, which side today? Which side of the mouth do you spread your decay? Which side today, which side today? Which side of the grass is greener? Inside, outside, which side, you don't know. My side, your side, their side, we don't know. You're like a great big fucking gun, just waiting to get squeezed. Oh yeah, I can see why Stanley Kubrick liked this. Yeah. We're gonna rip this motherfucker off. We're gonna tear this motherfucker down. Get on your feet. Verse 3, breathe, forfeit erection, toxic load injection, geriatric fuckface with syphilitic mind. And then here's more samples from the two movies. I hope they realize that this is their last goddamn chance. Kill him. Kill, kill, kill. Chorus. Thieves, liar, thieves, liar, thieves, liar, thieves, liar. Inside, outside, which side, you don't know. My side, your side, their side, we don't know. Which side today, which side today? Which side of the mouth do you spread your decay? Which side today, which side today? Which side of the grass is greener? Inside, outside, which side, you don't know. My side, your side, their side, no one knows. You're like a great big hit of acid waiting to be taken. Power to the people, power to the people. Police officer, kill, 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 you will not kill. These are again samples. If it's a sample, it's in parentheses, from the two movies, The War at Home and Full Metal Jacket. Outro, I want peace. I guess that's Nixon. Do you want peace? I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. That's Sergeant Hartman, in Full Metal Jacket. That's where I started. And I said, wait a minute, these samples, they're pointing in a certain direction. Full Metal Jacket is about, the movie, the events of the movie take place during the Vietnam War, during the Tet Offensive. Okay? Like, that's important. But, what really went on? What was that war really about? What was Vietnam really about? And again, was Full Metal Jacket really about the Vietnam War? And the perspective of a character like Joker telling us what's going on? Because I still maintain Joker is an unreliable narrator. I don't trust him. He doesn't have regulation army glasses. He should not have those gold-framed glasses if he's really a soldier. They all have the same everything. Even the glasses. Even if you need glasses, the frames of your glasses are the same as every other guy's glasses. Why are his different? Something's wrong. Something's wrong but there's more. And then the War at Home documentary, like, what's going on? And it has to do with the University of Wisconsin at Madison. And then we have this Sterling Hall bombing and the history of not just that bombing that the War at Home documentary is about. Okay. It's not just about that. Where are we? Hold on. Sorry. I know it's here. Okay, there it is. The War at Home, 1979. Okay, it's about the Sterling Hall bombing at the University of Wisconsin Madison campus. Okay, okay, if Stanley is talking always, and like, I think every one of his movies about the atomic bomb, its creation, its use, and the atomic age, as we call it, that follows the use of the atomic bomb. Okay, so this War at Home movie about this thing that happened, the bombing of Sterling Hall on UW-Madison, at UW-Madison. Where's the article? Hold on, wait a minute. What was it, like more than a dozen? Yeah, the State Journal story dated October 16th, 1945, noted that more than a dozen individuals who either taught or studied at the University of Wisconsin-Madison spent time at Los Alamos. Okay, you guys, help me. Help me. Am I crazy? I don't know what Al Jourgensen is trying to do. Is he really just talking about, like, okay, the anti-war movement in the 60s and 70s, and this bombing happened to be like a part of that? Or is he trying to, like, make us look at this university and, like, look a little bit more deeply? And he's connecting this documentary, The War at Home, with Full Metal Jacket, because both samples from both works are included in the same song, Thieves. And UW-Madison, again, like, serious connection to the Manhattan Project. And if I'm right about Stanley Kubrick's movies really being about the atomic age and the evil of that, is that what Jourgensen is saying too? Like, what's going on? What's going on? And like I said, Feynman, he threw some serious shade at Oppenheimer. I need to explore that still. Again, I've been in a funk for the past 4 months. I'm slowly getting out of it. I made this video. But you guys tell me. You guys please tell me. I don't know what thumbnail to use for this. For this video. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. I really seriously don't know what's going on. But, you know, here I am. I did this. Again, tell me. If I'm crazy, please let me know. Is it going to stop me from being crazy? Probably not. But I would still like to know. Okay. I would still like to know if I need, you know. His ministry's Al Jourgensen. If I hadn't become a musician, I would have been a teacher. You are a teacher, Al. You are. It's just like, you know, your students, you're not teaching in a classroom. You're not teaching on a campus, university, high school, whatever. You're teaching in a different way from a different place. Probably much better than teaching in the traditional sense and in the traditional, like, formal educational environment. You did it. You are a teacher, whether you know it or not, whether you're prepared to acknowledge it or not. Okay? You guys, and again, comments, I can't wait. I really can't wait for the comments on this one. I wanted to make this video. Something in my spirit told me, Miss Am, you need to make this video. You need to make this video. And when something kind of like grabs at me and won't let me go like that, I just have to go with it. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. If my hypothesis, my suspicions and whatever are completely wrong, okay. All right, I don't mean any harm to anybody. I just couldn't let this go. Okay, I couldn't let this go. all of these tabs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 tabs, all going to be in the description of the video. Who knows, like this might be my viral moment just because I mention like a pop, ministry is not pop music, no, but like a pop, popular culture icon like Al Jourgensen. Who knows, I might get some subscribers, or I might get some very angry comments. We shall see. You guys, I hope you enjoyed the coffee. I hope you enjoyed the coffee and your treats and whatever. I hope I helped you get some shit done around the house. Gave you some background noise to clean and work on the yard or whatever you're doing. Let me know. Let me know if I've succeeded in at least that. So you guys, again, I hope you enjoyed the coffee. There's going to be more coffee like next week. I think I might finally do Understanding the Shining part 22. We're getting there. We're going to go into the gold room next time and hang out with Lloyd. All right. Oh my God, that's going to be an interesting one. Or are we? I forgot where I left off, but we're making our way to the gold room, okay? We're making our way to the gold room and Lloyd and more windowless rooms at the Overlook Hotel. Overlook Hotel is, this part of the year, they're on their way to closing up. So you guys, it's tomorrow. Like I'm doing this video. Doing this video real late, Friday night, September 20th. Tomorrow, Saturday, September 21st, is the first day of Happy Fall, y'all. All right, the pumpkins are everywhere. People are already putting up Halloween decorations, skeletons, tombstones, pumpkins, and what have you. If you're not American, you just don't know. Okay, people, we anticipate fall with a fervor, with a passion here in the good old US of A. And speaking of Al Jourgensen and mystery, yes, Halloween is every day. Every day is Halloween. It really is. So I will, find a reason to talk at you in the next video. Probably another installment of Understanding the Shining. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my nonsense. I appreciate it so much. I might do another coffee break too, but first I'm going to do Understanding part 22, and then probably a coffee break covering several videos, because I got some good comments on this one. Dr. Strangelove. I need to go back to Strangelove. I need to go back to Lolita. I need to, watch Richard Tankard of Tales Stashy's newest video. Look over, I need to, catch up on Delta's videos too. I can't wait this weekend. I hopefully have some free time and energy and patience to do that. I know it's going to be a good video. Whenever Richard drops a video, it's always very insightful. Same thing with Delta. I've enjoyed this, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it too. I'm going to stop rambling. Until the next time, you all. Until the next time, when I find yet another reason to talk at you in one of these videos, I'm going to go ahead and bid you bye-bye. So, bye-bye, everybody.